Okay. Perfect. Okay, so if you had not been here, what we generally start with before we get into getting too intellectual, we just do a free improvisation. Don't overly concern yourself about anything. Just try to express yourself. The objective only really is to see if we can try to meet each other in a vocal space. Feel free to use your voice. You can also use your hands, your feet. You can clap, you can snap, but just kind of get yourself in motion and make sounds. Now, let me ask, because I've been blessed with your voices, but I've not heard you sing. Do you have any background in singing, or is this like zero? Zero. Okay. Do you sing in the shower?
Yeah.
Okay, that's background. All right. You use your voice.
Yeah, I have a teacher's voice. I can do that.
You said a teacher?
Teacher's voice, yeah.
Okay, what's that look like?
It's just projecting.
Yeah, that means So that's definitely one of those skills we're gonna need. So that's great.
Okay.
Let's do it this way then. Let's do a free improvisation, but I'm just gonna give us one note where we'll just do like a sort of an ohm, just tune to each other, so you make sure that we're in the same vocal space. And then I'm gonna come in with an idea, and you just try to add on to that idea. Does that sound fair? Listen, it's really whatever you want to do. Can we do that together?
You want to do it?
Okay. I just want to make sure I have everybody's, yes. Okay. So.
I guess we did break the ice, right?
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So let's just all try to tune ourselves to that note.
Jump in there. I had no idea.
And that's the first step.
All right.
Is being confused. No, trust me.
Great.
There's a method to my madness. You're doing great.
Okay.
Okay, because I often talk about the emotional management of the musical process. You know what I'm saying? Like, certainly we can go over scales and chords and things like that, but like a lot of, from an improvisational context, what I find is it's really about confronting the feelings that come up whenever we're putting ourselves out there, when we're, you know, how we feel differently when we're with a new group of people versus people we know. You know, like, I don't know, do you feel scared to sing in the shower ever?
No, but like, I think it's more so just kind of like nervousness in how you sound, where you want to jump in, and
Right.
what you sound like when you just jumping off that bridge of singing.
Exactly. And I guess what I'm saying is, in the context when you're alone, when you're with your own thoughts, with your own voice, that's a very different context than when you're with a group, or even the pressure of, not to add fuel to the fire, but sometimes it's like, oh, well, I feel it sometimes, like, oh, there's a musician I respect here, and like I have to not get in my own head about wanting to sound cool or impressive or proficient in front of that person. Like, so how do we tackle those feelings so that we can express ourselves the way we want to express them? Because there is certainly like technical things that you learn. You learn the body mechanics. You learn, you know, there's muscle memory and all these other things, and that has to be dealt with. But have any of y'all ever had an experience? It could be not even musical, but like if you had to learn a speech or and you practice it one way at home, but then you get into the room and now it's like, why does this feel entirely different? And I'm not doing it. I was killing it when I was at the house. I be feeling that all the time. If I could just sound like how I sound like when I'm practicing by myself, like everyone I'd have $1 million right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, but how do we deal with that gap? How do we close that gap?
Yes.
In ourselves. So anyway, so thank you for being vulnerable and participating. Did you get any notes out?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
Great.
I did like 5.
Okay, great. Yeah, 5. That's a good amount of notes if you've never done this before.
I joined the party.
Okay, so yeah, see, okay, yeah, and verification, okay, and it happened. Can you tell me a little bit? So when you were trying to come in, what did you feel like? Did you feel like?
I feel like your voice is low, and then her voice is high, and then I'm just like, yours is kind of like in the middle, but like like a little lower on that lower end, and my voice is also kind of like in the middle, but on the lower end too. So I'm just like, I can harmonize with you, and I can harmonize with you, but when it came to you, I'm like, she's high, and I'm trying to fill that gap, but I don't know if I could fill that high note gap. Yeah.
But that interests me. I think that's beautiful that you were even cognizant. You naturally were like cognizant of the vocal ranges and how we were like, where we were operating in the space.
Facts.
So we can talk, one of the things I think we can talk about is like, what are some practical tools like in order to find a way to fit in? Like where should you be? How do you know where you should be? What does it mean to be? Sorry. That's a philosophy.
Something about comfortable range, I don't know. I'm trying to find the comfortable spot where it's like singing a Chris Brown song, but I know I can't sing it like this, but I know I can sing it like this in this note, this range here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think and that's also, that has a lot to do with your particular voice. Like there's I won't go too far down this road right now, but like, you know, that's a whole nother conversation too, because a lot of people, if you spend all your time emulating others, at some point you have to, through that process, you discover like, oh, well, this is where I feel naturally comfortable, versus also like the outside pressures versus what actually feels good in your body, and therefore like why we, like, this sounds silly, or it shouldn't be silly, but I feel like it is silly, which is, in a lot of times I don't think a lot of us are singing for our own enjoyment, and we may not even realize that's what we're doing. Like if I'm playing things that I can get so caught up in how I want others to perceive me, or what the expectation is. Like if you're singing an R&B song, you're singing a Chris Brown song, you know, everyone expects you to hit a high note and do a backflip. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's not how you would express those words or that song if it was your song. You know what I'm saying? So how do you find yourself? And it has to do with your physical, like your body, like where does your voice actually feel comfortable? And when you figure that out, then you can expand from that place, but you have to find that chorus place where you feel comfort. let me try to elucidate this so it's not so abstract. I'm saying I want us to start with creating a seed. I actually think comfort is a great starting place. How do we find comfort? So can I ask for the more experienced singers? When you're singing to yourself or performing, how do you create comfort for yourself? If you've ever asked yourself that question.
Yes.
I've never asked myself that question.
What?
No, I don't think I have, no. How do I create comfort for myself? When I'm by myself, I just am. Is that how you say it? Because I'm by myself, nobody's watching me, so I don't really have any expectations. This is just me.
Right. So was it fair to say you already feel comfortable in that context?
When I'm by myself, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because if I make a mistake, it's like nobody heard me, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How about yourself? Do you have any strategies for creating comfort?
I feel like, especially with like starting testosterone, a big thing has just been like, my voice is gonna crack. I'm gonna hit a note sour. I'm gonna fuck up. And I sing in the shower a lot, and my roommates can hear me because I can hear them when they're in the shower, so I know they hear me sing. And I'm just like, we all heard that, but I'm just gonna keep going because otherwise it's worse.
Right.
So just like, you know, I know, like just preparing for the fact that I'm gonna hit the wrong note or like my voice will crack and just pushing past it because it's like, it's infinitely more embarrassing to be like, I hit that badly and I just stopped, than I hit that badly and I kind of recovered. You know, even if it's not like a great recovery, at least I kept going.
Yes, I love this because I think you're talking about like a level of acceptance. Number one, like like it's gonna happen. Like so, don't stress yourself out being like perfection as a model. Like, and I think a lot of us do stop ourselves with that as one of the problems, right? So, okay, so maybe you ground yourself in. It almost like you're like, let me be real with myself. Let me like be real about like what I'm expecting to get out of this. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah, and there's something else you said, but like acceptance and also like, like knowing that there's more context than one bad note. Like I've been singing for so long, and I know I have a whole future of singing ahead of me. Like one or two bad notes in a song does not mean I'm a bad singer. Like it's just
right.
Like we slip up, we keep going.
And this is where you know,
It feels like acceptance, acceptance of imperfect, like they're not perfect, but you're like accepting the fact that not every note is gonna be 100%, but then every other note gonna be 100%, and then you're like, I just am, and then I just kind of like go into like a zone.
Acceptance too, like I know my voice is not perfect. It's never gonna be, I think. And I'm gonna make mistakes, but it's okay.
You're helping.
I don't think that makes me a bad vocalist. Just if I make one or two mistakes.
right. And I want to be clear. What I try to do in these classes is reframe how we think, because to y'all, let's get in the mud a little bit. What does it mean to be a bad singer? What is that?
I used to think before that I was a bad singer because I guess there was a lot of comparison going on in my head, and there were maybe certain notes or like riffs or technical stuff that I couldn't do, or I didn't know how to do, and because of that I would be like, oh, I can't sing for shit. But then I guess I have to adjust, like find my voice, and I adjust my voice to what I want to do, because my voice is different from everybody else.
Right. Right. So centering yourself more on like what do you want to express versus.
Like I'm not Whitney Houston. I'm not gonna sing like Whitney Houston because I'm not Whitney Houston. I'm a Belgian, so I have to sing like a Belgian. You know?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Can y'all share more? Like, what do you guys feel like a bad singer is?
I feel like you'd have to be like tone deaf and not aware you're tone deaf, but even that like tone deaf people can make music, so it's like
Yes.
Right. So what is bad then? Right.
It's like super subjective, and like I don't know. You'd have to be like atrocious to like rank as bad, because it's like because you were saying that like, you know, singing as we're not always having as much fun with it as we're like singing for ourselves as much, but it's like I sing for fun all the time, and so it's like, are you having fun with it first off, and like second off, like, does it sound passably like what you're aiming for? Like,
right.
You know, like good is
right. The aiming for piece, I think that's a big one. So. Now I'm gonna go out into space and then we're gonna come back to the ground and do some exercises so this makes more sense. But we're dealing with these subjective, it's like a lot of times, a lot of the ways that I convince myself to actually get what I want to happen physically is to trick myself or lean into a thought process that maybe isn't, it isn't always necessarily about logic. Is what I'm saying. Like, there is like a healthy form of delusion that allows you to like actually in real life get the action that you want to happen out of you. You know what I mean? So like, there's the subjective piece of good and bad, and I think a lot of us have this language of like, well, I don't want to be a bad singer. But then when you're like, well, wait, what the hell is a bad singer? What does that even mean? Wait a minute. Okay, so but if good and bad, and at least especially with music, are constructs that we create, can we also decide for ourselves if it is good or bad, right? Versus someone else's opinion of it, as an example, right? And then this is the grounded part that I want to balance that out with, which is when we get in this conversation, we lean too far on one or the other side. I think it can get kind of sometimes toxic, but not always. But like the people, like so, there are foundational things that human beings like resonate with. So like there's a natural set of tones that are in resonance with the earth and each other, and our ears and our minds respond positively to those things. Like we generally perceive this. Okay, this piano also is very dissonant. So hold on, let me find something. Let's see, hold on, let me find something. Okay, there we go. I think most people would say that sounds nice. You know what I mean? And now that you could qualify that as cultural context, because whether we recognize or not, most of us have heard that over and over again. But that series of tones for human beings sounds pleasing. And generally, if you go, most people are gonna be like, oh. So that's the part that's less subjective. There's like a range, like a spectrum of consonance or like calmness to like more dissonant or more chaotic sounds. And as musicians, as artists, this is what we play with. I even think as a photographer, you play with this, right? Like the composition, like depending on how you frame, your subject, emphasizes something that maybe feels more calm, the lighting. There's so many things. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So getting on that spectrum. So that's the part that's grounded. Is like, okay, how do we get in communion or in contact with like when we want things to feel peaceful or meditative versus when we want something to sound triumphant, or we want to express rage, or we want to express anxiety. We ground ourselves in like the science of it, like the physics of vibration in space. But then we also get to determine, that's where we get to determine what any of that means, really. You know what I'm saying? So here's the exercise. This is I love it. You've done this one. This is the kind of the anything goes exercise. So I kind of want to clear out our perception of like right or wrong. There is no wrong in this exercise. So whatever you thought music was supposed to be, it doesn't exist anymore. You can make tones. It can be any tone that exists. It can be a percussive sound. You could talk. You could whistle. You could. That's the exercise is you could. And so maybe at times we're gonna sound weird and abstract. Maybe sometimes we will sound like sweet and nice together. But just feeling your body, how that feels, and try to just let yourself express. Can we try that out?
Yeah.
Okay. So literally, go ahead.
Can I get off camera?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like,
by the way, like nobody.
me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you know what? Look, they can stare at me.
Stare at you.
There's like nobody here, but to be clear, there's like nobody here. This is just for like recording, but like.
Hell. Like, oh my
Okay,
God.
no.
Okay.
Okay, now we're good.
Appreciate you.
No, I'm glad you told me that. So all right, so the objective is anything, literally anything, and we'll fill it out. Maybe we'll do it for a couple minutes and then reflect. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So come. You know, you're like, when do I come in? Whenever you feel like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, great.
I was inspired by Stomp. You ever seen Stomp?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so no, I love that. That's our first piece together. Okay. Just general observations. What did you like about that? Any feelings that came up? Anything that came to mind while you're doing that?
I liked everything you guys did.
It was fun. It felt like I had to just kind of get this out of my body so I can release the nervousness, and that's what nervousness sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying my best to depict what I'm feeling on the inside to not think about it on the outside.
Yeah, and I thought that was great. Thank you. Any other feelings that came up? Thoughts, feelings?
I liked hearing the flow of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you started that, I liked that, and you started riffing off it and doing your own play on it and stuff. I just liked hearing everyone's different ideas and all the variations you would do. It was just really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I also want to point out, I love that what I found with this exercise, what I really enjoy is that maybe a lot of us are even holding this idea that this is has to be serious all the time. You know what I mean? If you take art seriously, everything's like, okay, well now it gets really intense. You're like, oh, well, but if I release the tension from my body and my mind and just allow myself to vibe out, you know what I'm saying? We were laughing, we were joking, and it was fun. It was just like, it was cool. Like, and it's what I like about this is like one of the tricks for me, because if I can convince myself, because I'm gonna tell you the truth, I am a perfectionist. I do take things very seriously, and I have to trick myself and be like, it don't matter. I know, because I know I care so much about it, I have to be like, it don't matter. Sometimes I'll even imagine myself, like I'll zoom out, like that view of the earth, like I'm like, like whatever I'm feeling right now, and then I imagine the earth, and like me being that tiny speck, it's like, all right, relax. Stop being dramatic, stop being dramatic. So, yeah, just, I'm trying to like help us like zone in on this feeling. How do we zone in on like, okay, like if I just gave myself no constraints?
This definitely broke the ice.
Good, I'm glad to hear that.
One, two, three.
And I feel like this is a way, again, it's like, how do we create comfort?
Yeah.
How do we, like people have warm-up exercises that they do when they're trying to, you know, get ready for performance, but like, this is a type of warm-up too. Like, how do I just get myself, I mean, you see that sometimes, like people will just like shake it out, because you gotta get out all of that excess, whatever, all the gunk.
Yeah.
And this is a way you can do that. Just like, oh, let me remind myself that this is just fun, that this is just a vibe, that this is just expression. And the funny thing is, a lot of times you get more of what you had intended for when you were being too serious, when you release that pressure, that tension in your body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we've zeroed out, now that we're back to like, we can do whatever we want, right? Do we believe that we can do whatever we want? Yeah? Tell the truth. If you don't feel that yet, we can go farther. We can get weirder, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm nervous to know what that looks like. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair feeling, fair wondering. But yeah, if we're like, okay, yeah, I can do whatever I want. Fuck out of here, I can do whatever I want. You know what I mean? Once we're at that space, a reasonable amount of that space, now let's add one thing. Let's not put the entire world of music on our shoulders. Let's add like one thing in order to make it less overwhelming. So I hope this question isn't too abstract, but like, what are the elements of music? Like, what are pieces of music? What makes music to you? Melodies.
That was in my brain. No.
Boom. Melodies.
Okay.
Yep.
Rhythm.
Rhythm.
Sometimes lyrics.
Okay, yeah, we got melodies, we got rhythm, we got lyrics. Anything else come to mind?
Soul.
That's right.
That's where it's coming from. Where your soul is playing right now.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Anything else? Just any other brainstorm, random things that come to mind. Anything else? Like, what makes music to you?
There's a chord in everything. I feel like there's a chord in everything. I feel like even on the guitar, I can play a C note or like a C chord, and then on a piano, it would sound the same, but it would sound like a different voice of some sort. But
Yes.
I feel like all instruments have different voices in a sense.
Yes.
And I think the piano, she sounds like a classical teacher, like na 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 na, and then the guitar is you. Guitar is you. I don't know why I think guitar is. I don't know why, but I'm seeing Nickelback. Like ever since he was outside, but now I'm gauging like your voice, and I'm gauging like how deep that tone is, and I can imagine you in the shower like singing, and I'm like, oh, it's rasp. There's rasp. There's rasp. There's that, and then you sound like a princess, like a pretty princess, like very very soft and very but not dreamy, but like you can sing jazz or something. You can sing like what's her name? I don't know, but them singers that just sound very nice and dainty. Yes.
And you're touching on something I think really powerful, like us as the instrument. There's actually a Josephine Baker quote I like about this, and I don't want to. I'm a paraphrase, but it's about something along the lines of, you know, like a violinist has their violin to care for. I was the instrument I must care for, right? Like understanding that, and I actually think to that point, I try to invite singers and then people who primarily play some form of musical instrument, because it's the vulnerability of your being the instrument.
Yeah.
Sometimes musicians don't always, like instrumentalists I should say, don't always understand that, how different that feels, including just like, you know, you can throw your keyboard around, but like if I eat too many chips, like now, now I have too much salt, and now like why isn't this note coming out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's an intense practice, but but okay, so yeah, so we've talked about some different elements, and so right, so I one way I even think you could think of music is, you're like, okay, like it's like a game. It's like you create limitations in order to is that a weird thing to say? I was gonna say like bottle freedom. Like I don't know how to put that.
That makes sense. Okay.
But like cause as an example, right? So this is the chromatic scale, right? Every note that makes the chromatic scale. That's the scale, everything that exists, right? And if you're like, okay, I'm just gonna play every note, then you're gonna sound like this. Okay, but if I then say, okay, let me only play the black notes, sounds very different, right? So the game there is you've created a limit. The limitation you created, or the game you created, is like, oh, only black notes, right? So that's like a different way to think of it. It's like, okay, it's a scale, sure, but you know, everyone falls asleep the minute you say that word. But if I say, okay, the game is I create this limitation, and oh wow, all the different things I can get out of just this. And I am, to be clear, I'm being random. Like I'm not thinking about this at all. I'm just letting my hands like exist. And what do I get out of that? So
I like that. Like it's not like you're bottling yourself up or boxing yourself in, but you're like creating a game for yourself in a way to like limit yourself in this light and see how limitless you could be with this limited thing that you created, like this. I like it. I like it. It's helping me be a better artist in general.
I think that's so if you frame it that way, right? Like when you're trying to play or solo on a song, you're like, or you like, you've kind of created a set of rules for that game.
Yeah.
Like that's the set of rules for that game. That song, those lyrics, whatever. That's the game. You're like, okay, how can I play with this to get with the result I want? So I think we should start with rhythm, because I think that's a good access point. But, you know, once you get into tones, everyone gets nervous. But not to project that. We're not nervous here. We can do whatever we want.
Right.
Right. We can do whatever we want.
Period.
But I kind of want us to do let's do a variety of what we did before. But let's just focus on being purely rhythmic. It can have a tone, because everything technically does have a tone. But more than anything, I want us all to just use our voices more like almost like beatboxers, or like a drum solo, whatever. For example, you know, or boom cat, boom boom cat, boom boom cat, boom boom cat. It doesn't have to be crazy. Or it can be.
You went crazy.
Thank you. But let's do a version of that. Let's do a collective vocal drum solo. You down for that? Can we try it? Our game is just focused on creating rhythms and trying to get the rhythms out that we like and kind of so come together. We're making a track together.
Alright.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. We
It makes
just make
sense.
beats.
I got you. I'm
You know.
gonna figure it out.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what we're gonna do. It makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna try not to take up too much space. I'm not gonna start with the
Yo.
Okay.
Oh. Oh. Oh my god.
I'm gonna pay my nails. Can you say that again?
Scat, 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 scat.
Scat, 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 scat. Scat. All right.
Period.
Perfect. Period. Scat.
No, you
Amazing.
gotta chill. That was funny. Good job.
Okay, so
Nails? I wasn't ready for that.
yes, I love that.
I wasn't ready.
I love that. Okay, so how do we feel in our rhythm game?
Better.
Okay, good.
Better than the first time that we collabed.
Okay,
Feels
nice.
like we kind of like went here.
What was better about it to you?
Comfortability.
Okay.
Yeah. It felt comfortable. Well, I felt more comfortable. And I feel like we got a little creative with it and it was fun. The nail part, that shit took me. The nails took me.
The creativity.
Facts. That's what I tell my kids all the time. Just get crazy. Get crazy. You like the backbone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
See that? Like the sturdiness that you gotta lean back. You're here, you got it. You know? Yeah.
Which is funny because it's like I find that when I'm like noodling by myself, I'm wildly inconsistent. I have like I'm not disciplined when it comes to music. I don't enjoy being disciplined when it comes to music. I find it sucks the fun out of it. But I feel like in a group context where it's like, you know, everyone's noodling, it's like what I find that I'm gravitating towards like something solid in the background, so that it's like everyone can come back home, and then I can do my thing, and then everyone can come back home, and then I can, like, you know.
Yes.
So that's what I'm gravitating towards, at least right now.
Let's go, Junko.
Yeah, and I think a couple of things are coming up for me. So I think what we're doing, or what I'm trying to have us do, is like we're approaching now, because there was still melody, there was still tone, but a lot of times we overcomplicate it. If you can pick one note and add rhythm to that note, like rhythm is an incredibly powerful access point for all these other quote unquote complicated, advanced, all this language that we use. But if you can ground yourself, then, you know, it's easier to add a few more notes and now you have a melody, right? Even though that was a melody, just that's a melody, right? It doesn't have to be all this other stuff. You can, and there's like other things to express by adding notes, but that's a great starting place. So to me, rhythm, that's one way that I will think to myself, it's like, oof, if on a particular day, I'm not feeling super confident, or like my voice, like I'm not sure where I'm at right this minute, I can use rhythm as a way to get myself in motion. So you've heard this spiel already, but actually, do you remember the whole thing about the two-step?
Yeah, that you always can go back to the 2 steps is the like the basic step.
Right.
And every dance, and and so you can always go back to that one thing, and you'll be fine.
Right. It allows you to have like a springboard. I feel like that's what it sounded like to me. Like you had this thing that allowed all of us to rely on, right? And then when you go, but then you always came back to that note. And so that's like a really, really powerful way of improvising, I find. It's like, yeah, you have, and again, I'm not gonna embarrass myself again, but like you do your salsa step or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But then you want to do a twirl. Okay, you might stumble, but once you get back to that, you know where you need to get back to. You know, so where that you explore, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna come back home. So rhythm is a really powerful way of doing that. So, and I don't know, I also find like, I mean, people think I'm crazy, sure, but when I start, people fuck with that. I don't know. It makes sense to me somehow, and it seems to make sense to us. You know, it's like, again, like language is rhythm. Like we're constantly actually using rhythm as a way to like access. So it's like relatable, I think, on that level, and it's like less. It can feel less overwhelming than like what's the right note, what's the key. You know what I'm saying? So I love that about that. The other thing you mentioned, I feel like, was like kind of like call and response. Is everyone in here like familiar with call and response as a concept?
Yeah.
Well, for you, do you mind, like, what is call and response in your mind?
It is kind of like seeing something and just getting a response from the outside. I don't know. I mean, what is it for you? What is it?
Well, when we talk about, I mean, because, like literally you have the word call and response. So like, any, basically it's like conversation is what we're really talking about. But in the musical context, what it usually means is like one person, you can call and response with yourself, or you can call and respond with another person. But if I go, so there's like someone's asking, and then this other part is like, well, actually, I went to the, and then you know what I'm saying? So there's like this conversation, and that's a way. Also, it creates, I think for the performer, it creates this like fun game balancing act, and then also for the listener, I think it creates like, I guess a sense of stability. So, and I don't want to ramble too much. I want to get back to singing some more. But my belief is that what we like in music, even coming back to how we're talking about like the natural tones and all these things, is like, I think we like things reflected in music and in performance that we want in life. So when, sometimes, like, I'll give you an example. Sometimes instrumentalists will start singing and they'll sound really mechanical, and it's like, because they're used to, instrumentalists tend to be very used to creating a very like mathematical structural grid as a foundation for someone who's a vocalist to fly over.
Okay.
Because a lot of time the role of a vocalist, one could say, in a lot of bands, is to like, you know, you're playing with the phrasing and you're trying to pull the emotion out of things, and so it's not so digga 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 digga. If you sound like that, you sound like a robot. But when you're like pushing and pulling, it feels like language. And so one way instrumentalists actually sound better, start working on being better soloists, is if you imagine that you're talking while you're playing, it starts to sound more like a voice, and then we're like, oh yeah, like it sounds like a person communicating, and there's something that's like feels like grounding and understandable about that. That's just one example.
Okay.
I think we look for beauty in the world. I think we look for unity in the world, or harmony. We're like those things feel on like a more abstract level what we want, and then it feels good. And then also, like, when a person, I talk about this from a performance standpoint, when you come out with confidence, that can compensate for a lot of technical not that greatness, quote unquote, because you're reflecting to the audience what we look for. Like when I look at Erykah Badu, I'm like, she's so authentic. You know, and I think that's a big, like, she's so authentic, she's so herself, she's so like, she's doing her thing, and I think it's because she's so strongly secure in her thing that we're like, yes, and I feel better about myself now. Versus if somebody comes up there and they're like, now I'm like, I'm nervous now, I'm anxious, please stop. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's less about even what they might sing, if what you're conveying is something that we're not like looking for, that can sometimes, that's what throws it off. Does that make sense to y'all? You see what I'm getting at here? Like, how do we reflect that? I'm sorry, we're gonna add something someone said. Yeah. Okay. So let's try and put this into practice. So now I want us, let's do another vocal exercise, but this time we're gonna pick a common tone and let's be in rhythm together. And I want us to use that as our seed, or as our two-step, and then try to call and response, or to like add other parts. So let's say, or you know what? See, I'm developing as I'm talking about it. So how about this? I actually think, let's have a musical conversation. I'm like, literally. Like, I'm going to say to you this right now, and then you say,
Something back, something important, but probably not.
exactly. Well, if it's important to you, then it's important to me. That's community, that's us having a conversation. Do you relate?
I relate. I love conversations. They're hard sometimes, but they're necessary for, I'm not even rhyming, free grow.
It doesn't have to rhyme, you just have to feel it.
I never doesn't have to rhyme, but it just feels right.
Right.
I think I'm gonna go outside. Because I think that rhyming is not right for me and my brain.
Oh, maybe then.
Huh? Oh,
Maybe then.
oh my god.
Oh my God. Sometimes I feel the same way, but it's okay.
There's so much pressure. Oh damn, that sounds awful. That sounds awful. But that's good.
I respectfully disagree. I think you made it sound. Just talk to me. Just talk to me.
Guess I'm just gonna talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 I like what you're saying. How was your day today?
It was busy. There's so many things that I have to do. Sunset Park.
Ooh, Sunset Park, that's far away.
There's this way, 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 way out there.
Yeah.
2 buses and a train.
Oh, 2 buses and a train, that's crazy.
God damn it.
You know, I used to live in Sunset Park at one time.
You know, we call that Africa.
We do. Wait, who is the we in this example?
Everybody in Flatbush.
Okay, everyone in Flatbush. Are you from Flatbush?
Yes, I am.
But is it just Africa because it's just so far away?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Have either of y'all gone to Sunset Park?
I've never been to Sunset Park.
I actually used to live there for 2 years.
Oh.
How did you like it down there?
I fucking love Sunset Park. I'm near San Francisco because it has a lot of the same communities, and those communities are very dear to me.
I like Sunset Park a lot as well. I just always had to plan my trip like I was leaving town. Now I will say Sunset Park kind of has everything you need if you need to stay or if you're able to stay in Sunset Park. But when you have to leave, it feels a little bit like an ordeal. I usually would leave for 2 to 3 days and stay with friends because at that point,
You gotta take a plane over there.
right,
A
exactly.
The flight.
A flight.
A flight.
A flight.
Oh, that's
A flight.
Gotta take a flight over there. Cause it's so damn far.
In Sunset Park.
In Sunset Park.
I wish you guys would give it more credit. It was a lovely place to live.
If you had a car.
I could have Sunset Park. If
You-
I had a car. But I
If you
can't.
had a car, go to Sunset Park.
But I can't even drive.
Well, girl, we can carpool.
I have a valid New York State license. I can drive us all in a rental car.
To Sunset Park.
Sounds like a plan. There's a lot of delicious food in Sunset Park, if I do say so myself.
Is that the area where there's the beautiful cemetery?
Yes.
Oh. And people picnic over there often.
This is true.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
This is true, this is true.
It is.
This is true, this is true, yes.
It's pretty dark. Okay.
Greenwood Cemetery has a lot to offer the tourists.
Wow.
Also, to an extent, local history buffs.
Really?
I've seen some pretty famous grave sites there. Not that I remember.
Like who?
Couldn't tell you.
You don't remember what the graves were, but you remember they were famous.
That sums it up.
Have you ever been
Yes,
to
I have.
Sunset Park?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta sing it back to us now.
I'm singing.
Yes.
I'm singing.
Oh yes, you're singing it.
I'm singing.
That's true.
Is this a musical now?
If you want it to be.
Like Milton?
Maybe. Oh, you guys.
I can't.
Oh, you in the musicals, maybe.
In a musical now.
Yes.
For the note. I'm handing it off to you now.
Why me? I'm heading up to you.
I gotta find the note. Ooh, it's dark and scary in this park. It's getting real spooky now.
In Sunset Park. Real spooky.
Heard there was a phantom in this bitch.
Oh no, not a phantom. Oh no, there's the phantom.
Why did you come here on Halloween? We're supposed to go trick-or-treating. Fuck. Now we gotta do some shit with a ghost. Fuck. Ghost.
Ooh, I hope they were friendly ghosts.
Ooh, I'm a ghost.
Why
Okay.
is there always a ghost?
They're not discreet ghosts.
Right.
Still unclear of their intentions.
Neutral ghost.
Neutral
One world, just go to heaven. Just go to heaven. Why are you here? Find the light. Find the light. He's like, no.
No, I'm a neutral ghost.
No particular agenda.
No particular agenda.
Just hanging out
Just hanging
with
out.
the living folk.
Oh yeah.
I know you got something for that.
And what is that?
Some salt.
Salt. Am I a slut?
What?
How you use salt on a slut?
On a slug.
And they go
Words.
like that. Since I'm ghost with jokes. Ooh, but not the Holy Ghost. We reserve that for a very special person.
Well, it's been really great to be here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing that. Anyway, Sunset Park. Really lovely part of town. Lovely part of town.
The exit.
We should go. We should go.
We should go.
Sunset Park. All right, what did we learn?
We're gonna have some fun on that.
What did we learn? What did we learn? I actually think we was doing some stuff, high key, low key. What are our thoughts?
When I enter the room with a zombie jam of any kind, ghosts will be brought up.
Right, this is a theme now. Yeah.
We were all like different seasonings.
Mm.
Different seasonings. I think it was fun to find the note and find the tone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's all.
Yeah, I feel like and we ended up kind of in this musical theater vibe, right? But what I think that speaks to is like, oh wow, okay, so this I think musical theater can be very conversational, and so there's something I think even to learn from that approach. Like, okay, yeah, like I think sometimes like, look, I come from a jazz and an R&B background, and there's so much richness there, but I think oftentimes we lose sight of like, whether you're talking about music theater, even the blues is an example where like, listen, like, what you have to say is what matters.
Mm.
I almost think of, a lot of times I think of music as like dressing up the truth. You know, it's like adorning the truth or adorning a message, either through a melody or through lyrics. So, you know, and we've talked about, I can't remember if we heard with the week we were talking about this, but how like, you know, it's actually even a form of technology. It used to be like back in the day, like when you had to, I'm just gonna commit to the bit, but like back in the day, like look, like now it's so easy to be racist, but back in the day, you had to work at it. You were like, if you imagine you're a racist and you're with your racist buddy, you're like, listen, we gotta spread this message of racism.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but we don't have phones, right? We don't have none of this. Like we don't even have a telegraph. So how are we supposed to communicate to people? So they're like, we gotta come up with a fire ass nursery rhyme. Like they were like, if we hit this fire ass nursery rhyme, then people are gonna know the truth. You know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make. The technology there for nefarious means in this case, but the technology there is like, okay, we're using rhyme, we're using melody, and it makes the message stickier. Mm-hmm. We all know a racist ass nursery rhyme. Huh?
The only one I can think of is Ring Around the Rosie. Right?
But Ring Around the Rosie is actually, that's a less controversial example. That actually, Ring Around the Rosie, Pocket Full of Posy, that actually has to do with like herbal knowledge and the plague, and so you can convey history, you can convey some form of knowledge or opinions through I personally, Row 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 Your Boat is my favorite. You know what? Number one favorite song. I'm calling it number one favorite. That is genius. Like I looked it up. I can't remember who the author was, but like, row, row, row your boat gently, not forcefully, not tensely, right? Gently down. You're not going up, you're going down the stream. Merrily. He didn't, and look, they didn't say merrily once. Merrily. Merrily! Merrily!
The Trinity.
Life is but a dream. They were cooking! Life is but a dream! They was talking about the Matrix! Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it! But no, seriously. So like, just these are examples of like communicating a message where it's like someone could say that to you, and you might remember it. But if you sing a thing, it sticks in a whole nother way. So you can even contextualize how you're improvising, bringing it all back around, right? Like we're trying to get comfortable not having material to rest on. Like we're just like, okay, but there is a material to rest on. The material is you. The material is your feelings. It's like being conversational. It's like, it's being able to be like, I don't really know what to say right now, right? And allowing that to, or picking a topic and thinking more about what you're saying versus the notes. because I guess I'm just trying to point out if you let the music, quote unquote, the notes get ahead of the message, that actually can make it harder to communicate your point.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess that being said, how can we turn this up a notch? So we had our little musical theater moments. Okay, let's see if we subtracted the words. But if you still carried this conversational tone, like what if you were everything you were saying, now you just Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get out of the word space, but let's keep that conversational inflection and see what happens how we feel different on our voice, if at all. Yeah? Alright. Let's see. Do we want to just keep those?
It had me when you said, okay. It was great to tell you.
Let's see. Very good. Okay, great.
I was like, yo,
I was like, yo, let's battle.
That escalated. I was like,
I wanted to see where it was.
it's the hip hop of it all. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm not against it. I'm not against the battle. I don't know. But
a humming battle.
you said what? A humming battle?
A
Yeah.
humming battle.
That was a good combo.
So anyway, I was just trying to have us extrapolate on this idea. How do we, whether they're words or not, how do we retain the feeling, right? Like, and again, like, there's actually an interview I'll probably put in the chat. Charles Mingus, who's a very famous like upright bassist, jazz bassist. They would talk about it. It's like, oh, so you think of phrases when you're playing. It's like, yeah. I've been thinking of phrases like. When they were like, well, what do you be thinking about when you're, what kind of phrases are you singing? Well, usually I'm like looking at one of the players and I'm thinking, fuck you, motherfucker, you ain't shit, like, and it's funny, but he wasn't joking. They just be talking trash on, so that's the game to them. So for our perspective, we're like, yeah, oh, this sounds like, but he's really like, you still owe me $5, give me that shit back, nigga. Anyway. Literally. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make again is allowing yourself to stay contextualized with your expression over the performance of the notes, I think is really what I'm trying to express here. For a couple reasons. Like, you can become more finessed at that expression, but I actually think what we're seeing here is like the amount of wiggle room you have with pitch, and timing if you're more focused on like what you're trying to express. And we get so obsessed about like perfection with the technicals. But again, going back to musical theater, and those, by the way, if you on Broadway, you can sing. Like, ain't no one on Broadway who can't sing, right? But they're comfortable sometimes just dropping the note. You might just lose it all together because it's important to communicate something more than it is. And that happens in blues a lot too. You may my baby left me, I don't see him no more. That all of a sudden he's just talking to you because he's very upset. But that's the power of staying connected to the intention over the notes. And you can, through practice, through scale work, through running like technical things, you can become more finessed more finessed, more graceful in your expression. But it's more important from my viewpoint to stay connected to the meaning. And if you don't know what the meaning is, then that's the question. Like when we're improvising, do you guys have a thought that comes to mind before you start? Sometimes. So like for you, what does that look like?
Like, the first concern is, can I figure out if I'm gonna jump in, like, what general notes would sound good or like sound appropriate?
Okay, right.
Because like, even when we were going back and forth a little bit, like I started way too high and you adjusted, and I was like, because I can't hear that on my own anymore. Like my voice to brain map is really skewed recently. So then when you drop down, it's like, oh, that's where I can go. So that helped.
Okay, good.
But also like in terms of like thoughts I'm having before I actually start, it's often like what emotion or vibe seems to be happening, and how can I, like, what's resonating with me in terms of like my internal monologue. Like, is anything latching onto this like phrasing, like musical phrasing that's happening? So like at the Ghostbusters moment,
Right.
like it was just so.
We had a Ghostbusters moment at the last jam. It just felt right for some reason. We sang Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and so it's like there was all these like very serious musical happenings before, and I was like thinking about like my relationship to my dad, and I was like, well, now's not the time. Now's the time to talk about this. So, you know.
Yeah, what's the natural transition from complicated relationship with my father? Ghostbusters. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it was such a fun and beautiful moment, and it actually did connect. I think that that's also where I think it's important for us to get out of our own. How do I put this? There's the difference between if we're trying to control too much versus being a witness to ourselves in the process. That's one of the ways that I think improvisation is really special, because if you let go, the themes or the connectivity can reveal itself, but you have to let yourself go enough for that to happen. So it's a process of getting more and more comfortable letting yourself go and not letting whatever anxieties may be plaguing us that day about our performance, about our life, or anything else, not let us just channel. And then you can accept the joy, you can accept the laughter, you can accept the fullness of things, because it turned into this. Because the way I remember it, like my experience was like you talking about how white man can't be trusted. I'm gonna get banned off YouTube or whatever. And then we ended up with Ghostbusters, and then I'm like, I see the like it don't make no sense, but it makes sense. So you can find the connectivity in things, and then maybe people find different connectivity in things. I don't know if that was other people's internal experience of that moment, but that's fine, because you leave the space for people to interpret. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So how about this then? Where are we at? What time is it? Okay. Let's do one more round, one more improv together. And this time what I want to do, so I kind of want us to come full circle back to where we started from, but now kind of informed with more of what we're talking about. So one thing I liked a lot about our last session also is like, now that we're kind of more in the habit of this conversational piece, you can be like, oh, like, all right, you did this little lick, so, then I can join in there, or I can start where you started, or start where you ended rather, and then take it in another direction. Or like, how can we blend together, but also feel comfortable standing out in the conversation, making a statement. One way of looking at a solo or when you're singing lead is like, okay, now I'm gonna make a statement. I'm going to guide the conversation, and then someone else comes in, and I want to just point out while we're here, this will help a lot if you're in a band context to start thinking of every instrument, every sound this way. How, because a lot of times we have these mishaps where, not to get in my bag, but we get very hierarchical about how we approach bands, and we don't even, maybe it's subconscious how we do that, but a lot of times vocalists, depending on the context, vocalists are they are the guiding person a lot of the time. And then in those contexts, like in pop contexts, we'll say, then the instrumentalists are used to just being like, all right, I'll just staying purely in the supportive role. And then sometimes the musicians don't get excited, they're like, oh, I hear something, and they want a solo, and then the singer will just sing right over them, because they're not used to from my perspective, used to the instrumentalist being considered a voice. The same way if someone was like, hey, you'd be like, what? But sometimes we get so used to musicians noodling, we're just like, yeah, all that stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna continue on, and we talk over each other. But we can have a conversation, whether we're talking about voices, or voices as in anybody who's playing an instrument, and leaving space for each other and be like, oh, okay, now they're gonna lead the topic in a different way, and then I can respond to that, and like that. So that's the game, is coming back to call and response, coming back to having a conversation, and looking at every sound that way. So while we improvise, you can use words or not. You can let words come to you, but let's try to be conversational and build off of each other. And also, like, you know, if someone says something in a repeated fashion, maybe we sing it together, and then you can either do unison or harmonize. Like, find ways to let's find each other. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And see what happens? Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens with you and me. Hey. Let's see what happens. I like to see. 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 I see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. Now I'd like it if you express yourself with words. We can keep that good. I'll hold you down in the back. Let's see what happens. I often like to point out the rest of us can keep on singing while the person is doing their solo. Yeah, let's see what happens. I like to see. 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 Let's see what chaos all burning soon. I feel much better. Not doing it alone. Let's see what happens. I like to see. I feel much better when it's not just me. Let's see what happens. I like to see. 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 Ferline, you seem like something's on your heart. I feel you. Let's just have a convo. What you feeling right now?
Words add so much pressure to everything I don't know. Words add so much pressure because I'm thinking so much. So much words. I gotta think of words and how they sound. Gotta feel it out.
Gotta feel it out. I think you're right with that. Let me ask you, when you are having conversation, do you feel this way?
No words when I'm having a conversation.
That's real.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let's see what happens. I like to see. Who knows what will happen? Guess we'll see. I wanna see what happens when I say. Let's see what happens. See what happens. What happens? I like to see. I like to see. What happens? Who knows what will happen? Who knows what will happen? Sometimes I'm scared of my destiny, because the future's a mystery. But we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna enjoy the present and see what happens. Enjoy the
Let's see
present
what happens. I like to see.
and we'll see what happens.
I see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens.
And we'll see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
And then we'll see what happens.
Enjoy the present.
And then we'll see what happens.
Enjoy the present.
And then we'll see what happens.
Enjoy the present.
And then we'll see what happens.
Let's
Enjoy the present. And then we'll see what happens.
what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. When we fill the space, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Yeah. What happens? What happens? Let's see what happens. When we enjoy the present. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's hear
harmony. It's hard for me to keep my ear. That's why so often I let the notes go free. Let's see what
happens.
I'd like to see.
Nice. Let's see what happens when you ignore me. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Woo! Let's see what happens. I like to see. Yeah. Let's see what happens when you ignore me. Yeah, yeah. Let's see what happens. Yeah, when you ignore me. Hey, let's see what happens. I like to see. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I like to see. I see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. I like to see. Let's see what happens. There we go. Very good, guys. Oh my god, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, can you any thoughts, feelings from that last one? How does that feel different to you than where we started from? How does it feel the same, or how does it feel different?
Give me like one more class, and I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna be on point. But I'm still like working off the nervous stuff. Like it's still
Yeah,
pretty
no.
like different for me. Like,
No, I want you to know
very different.
you're doing great, especially with zero experience, and you know, like you're doing fantastic, and I thank you for like sharing and putting yourself out there. And yeah, this is great. This is great. So we just keep building from here. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do my best.
Yeah, exactly. All of us will. So yeah, ways it felt the same, different. Any thoughts and feelings while we were doing that?
I liked all the little flares because it's like the through line was very strong from start to end, but it's like there were a lot of moments of divergence and then like getting to hear other people's ideas, even if they were like not like there wasn't like a huge tone shift, but like we still got to explore some things and then like dabble.
Yes.
So I feel like when we started the night, it was like kind of throwing everything at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, okay, like, what? Like, there's an anchor point,
Yes.
but like, with that anchor, it like gives you the freedom to go out, and then you're like, okay, I'm good, bye. And then, like, go back.
Right.
So, yeah.
Agreed. Any other thoughts that come up for y'all? Well, I'll say I definitely agree. I think that again, what I hope you guys get out of this is some ideas of kind of how to break through your own mental blockages, possibly. You know what I mean? How do I create access points for myself, for yourself, so that you can get back to that space, kind of like the difference between the beginning and the end, and that's kind of why I feel like I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And you're like, well, do what? Like, and fair enough, but I kind of threw us into the water there because I wanted us to feel like, okay, so like when I don't have that anchor point, like, okay, so what do I do? What are my reflexes? What does it look like to be in space? What feelings come up? And ideally, we start using these little access points, like checking in with yourself, using different things like rhythm and, okay, let me just have a conversation, like reminders of how to stay free, how to express ourselves, and then we're just, we will both feel better and sound better the more we get in touch with those like touchstones, so to speak. And by the end, I feel like we was locked.
Yeah.
We was locking. There was some lockage.
I think as a beginner, or someone that's just like completely, I'm visuals. I'm not one, but I think when I don't have the training wheels of conversation, like conversation with either the musician or like other humming of the sense, when I'm like by myself, I'm drowning. I don't know how to swim. I'm here like, how do y'all know when to jump in? What the fuck? Like, I'm still just like, what? So when I don't have, it felt like training wheels when we were talking, when we were like humming, when we were like just kind of bouncing off of each other in a sense. But I know that if I'm like in the house and I'm just practicing with my voice more, if I come back, I promise y'all, I'm gonna be better. I promise.
But yes.
That last round, I was like, what? What?
But no, I mean, again, like, yes, you will be better, but I'm really, and I'm not blowing smoke here. Like, I know you have a voice, and you're expressing yourself well. I think we also should, I just want to point out, just as kind of like a leading piece to think about, I think some people lean more melodic and some people lean more verbal. Like, any of us could have rapped at any time. Like, if you're a person who you're like, I'm literally just gonna talk at you. Like, sometimes I will do that. Some days, because I do both, I'll be like, I am not hearing. Some days I gotta talk it out, and that leads me into some melodies and some ideas, or sometimes I gotta shoot de doo bop 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 bebop, and that leads me into finding the lyrical content or the message. So it's like there's different ways to navigate it. So just maybe that's something to consider for yourself too. Like when you're by yourself, like are you like more rhythmically in a more rhythmic frame of mind, or like is it easier for you to
I'm not
like
trying to find words right now. I don't want to find words right now. Like, I'm not trying to think about words. Now I gotta think about words. I gotta think about what I'm saying. Now I gotta not sound silly and then also add melody. Alright, hold on. Alright, hold on.
I do want you to know you can sound silly though.
Huh?
I do want you to know you can sound silly though.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
It's new still.
Yeah.
It's new.
Yeah.
So now it's just gonna go straight to rapper talking voice because I'm just like
Right. No, but yeah, again, I think you did a great job, and again, thank you for expressing yourself, but the idea, it's interesting because if you have no background, it's almost a funny place to start because I feel like everyone tends to focus on like very rigid. These are okay, you got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then 10 to 15 years later, you're like, oh, I can express myself. But I think that's bullshit. I know those things, and it's important it is a very useful skill to understand music theory, and there's like regimented practice, like the athleticism of music. Never disregarding that. However, you don't have to, if you can, I find a lot of people, okay, in closing, thank you for attending my TED Talk. In closing, in my standpoint, I think the difference of like prodigies from a lot of us, this is a theory, hot take, but I think a lot of what allows them to do what they do and us, there's like many of us musicians who get grumpy on the internet when we look at Instagram, we're like, I'm a fucking 10-year-old, I've been doing this 20 years. The difference, I think, sometimes is that if they were never told that this is going to take 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime in order to express yourself, or to like, if they were just never told it was a hard skill, like what if we just came at it the entire time as play, that we call it playing for a reason. And I just want to remind all of us, you and all of us, that like it can be play. Think of it as a game, think of it as an expression. You don't have to do anything. I asked you to do words, but you could be like, like you could just say no, you can refuse the offer, is what I'm saying. But it's keeping that playfulness and how we approach this. And if you do that alongside, you can take anything like a scale or chord practice or anything and have a playful attitude about it, right? Like imagine if like a kid was like, well, I'm not ready for the monkey bars yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta do a few more, like, I don't know if I can calculate the distance properly, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not gonna do it. That, in my opinion, is how we be looking. I look like that, I be doing that, well, I'm not ready for it. No, just, when you go to open the door, you think it's like, okay, all right, arm up, okay, now extend. Like, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we create these extra layers that you wouldn't be able to open the door either if you thought that way. You know what I'm saying? It would take you 15 minutes to get out of the room. It's all right, I'm gonna stand up, all right, activating, okay, now, I'm like, anyway, so yeah, getting back to that freedom and that playfulness, and thank you for indulging me in those exercises. Let's clap for ourselves. Thank y'all so much. We do this every week. I hope y'all come back. It's awesome.
I'm not gonna be able to do this without y'all too. Okay.
Oh, I guess we locked in.
Now I'm attached.
I mean, right on. I was about to say it's nice when we have the same group, because then like we can build on like what we've established and chemistry and like and comfortability. That's what bands are about, low key. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice.
one thing. When you play with the same people long enough, you know each other in a different way, right? Different things happen. But thank y'all so much. We'll be here again next week. Thursday is the band practice. If any of y'all want to come to that, just know that's also 7 to 9. And we'll be doing instruments and voice. So if you want to sing with a band or play an instrument, that's the time for that. And aside from that, you know, it's $20 sliding scale. So, you know, you do what you can, but we do the Venmos and the Cash Apps and even the Patreon and or cash, good old cash money. Thank y'all so much. And I'll send y'all that video. Peace and love.